Hey there, Saints, and welcome to Awaken Spark Notes. This past week, we went through the second week of our series on Jesus Year 2. And it reminded me of a quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., where he said, "The ultimate measure of a man is not whether or not he stands in times of comfort and convenience, but how he stands in times of challenge and controversy." And I've been meditating on that quote because I think it summarizes the idea that I was trying to communicate this past week. As we looked at Jesus' ministry and the effect of the murder of John the Baptist, the death of John the Baptist had on Jesus and the work that he was doing. And so what I thought was really fascinating is what was brought out in that moment of pain and grief for Jesus. And during that time, what we saw was both sides of Christ, his fully human side and his fully God aspect as well. The fully human part of Jesus, what I appreciate him doing, the scriptures teach that Jesus went away, right? He created space for himself to go through this process of mourning and grief. And sometimes we don't give ourselves permission or aren't thoughtful enough to do that. And it was really encouraging to see how Jesus did. And then in the aftermath, when Jesus comes to shore and he sees the crowds waiting for him, the God aspect of Jesus was also activated. And thereafter, he spoke and preached with authority, he healed with power, and he performed miracles. The miraculous feeding of 5,000, which is the only miracle of Jesus' ministry that's recorded in all four of the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And I was really struck by that, to see that this idea that nothing will hinder the work of the Lord in advancing his kingdom. And so as you're meditating on the sermon this past Sunday, I want to have you guys consider two things. One is, in my times of grief and pain and trial, am I creating space in my life to be able to process and do that which is necessary for me to find healing and restoration, the capacity to move forward? And then the other part too is understanding that living a life where we're fully devoted to Christ and doing the work of his ministry requires that we are leaning on and relying on God's strength, and to find the comfort and joy of knowing that God's Spirit, the same Spirit that empowered Jesus, dwells in us. And we are to lean on him to do the work that only God can do. So I hope that these questions and the challenge of this past week's sermon will have you prayerfully consider and be thoughtful about the ways and the areas in which you need to be growing. Have a great week, Saints, and be blessed.